Whether you're married or single or poly or ace, or hanging out with swingers back at your place, listen to us as we give no fuck on Tinder and Bumble and plenty of yucks, trying and having no luck, because we all know dating kinda sucks. Sarah and Adam are two of a kind. He says stupid shit and she doesn't mind. They're not doing this show to make any buck. Life as a chicken whose feathers he plucks. Why does it work? Well, here is the crux. They both know dating kinda sucks. Dating kinda sucks.
Hi, I'm Adam Heath Avitable.
And I'm Sarah.
This is Dating Kinda Sucks, the podcast about dating, sex, and relationships. This week, we'll be talking about the difficulty of transitioning from single life to a committed relationship. Enjoy the show.
Hey, YouTube, if you're watching right now, feel free to subscribe to our channel. Actually, subscribe to our channel, like this video, and comment below for future episodes you'd like for us to do. Thanks for watching.
Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining us. And Sarah, let's talk about your vagina. Let's just dive right into it.
Let's do it.
let's just dive right. Let's just dive right in. We're just gonna dive. Let's not dive into your vagina, but let's talk about your vagina. I feel like it's a great way to start our episode.
And in this new segment called Inside Sarah, we talk about her vagina in details, all the details. Are you going to draw something this episode too?
I don't think I'll have to sketch anything this time. Although the Facebook group was very happy to see the video from YouTube, and they appreciated it. Some of them said that they were trying to picture the things that we were talking about on like while they drove, and they really couldn't picture it. So my artwork helped. As well as people in Patreon who got to see you reenact it clothed, but reenact it on the bed behind the camera, which was fantastic.
Let me tell you, when I reenacted it and my vagina was straight into the camera, I was so shameful. I was like, well, shame has just filled my entire body right now, and I'm done. Let's end this shit.
Yeah, that was great. That was fantastic. I really can't complain about that last episode there. So yes, we did. We dove into it last week, and I think we're in our last episode, and we're gonna dive into it again. So let's talk about what's been going on with your vagina.
I love that you know a lot about what's going on with my vagina.
I know too much. But that is the nature of our friendship. I think is that this is what happens.
Well, it's mostly because I was saying something about my sex life, and since getting back from Portugal, not having so much sex as I anticipated, and that's partially because Friday I went for a run, and I used to run marathons and half marathons, and I didn't even run. I think I ran 1.5 miles during my Friday afternoon workout, and I got back, took a shower, and I was like, why is my crotch so itchy? So like anybody, I scratched the hell out of it because I know no boundaries. And I was like,
you're not like a grown adult who can be like, no, I shouldn't do that. That's not a good idea.
No, I knew that I shouldn't have done it, but I was like, it feels good. So I'm just going to keep.
It feels good.
It feels good and whatever. And this is before getting ready to go out for dinner. And then Master of None and I were going to have a cute little date night and then hopefully have sex. And that was the plan. And then I'm in the shower and I'm like, I don't know. I think it's getting worse. I'm going to stop scratching now. I think I scratched the hell out of it. And then it just started to fucking burn. And where it was like literally on my labia. So that
I'm
was
now trying to picture vividly, just imagining.
No, draw this. God, please don't.
I'm not going to draw it, but we all know, by the way, that it's not like you don't have a very exposed vagina.
Of pussies.
Right. Well, like as we said before, you have the Camry of pussies, so everything's nicely tucked in. You know, all the features that you want, but like all present in a nice little sedan that's comfortable to travel around usually.
Well, yeah, and when I was telling Master of None, I think I chafed my lips. He's like, but you don't have big lips.
Right.
Just an awkward conversation because I had to tell him, I don't know if we can have sex later. And then we were walking to dinner and I'm just like walking really weird and it's itching and everything's just, I think I was wearing a dress. And I was like, I don't know, I can't do this. And it finally got a little bit better.
I'm just imagining you like duck walking now. Like just trying to like walking like you just like got banged by like a giant dick or something, and you're like so sore you can barely like keep your legs together. And except no, That's the imagine.
I
I'm
know
like you're
that's
like,
the thing.
oh, like just like yeah, just this is fantastic.
It was
Yes.
it's still itching. I want to scratch the hell out of it, but now I'm in public, and then it's somewhat burnt, so I need to stop. And I'm in
Oh
public
my
still.
god.
So I
Now
was
just imagine you duck
around.
walking, scratching your crotch. Like this is just in
I
public,
did
like
it.
a
I did it. I wanted to, but I didn't.
right.
And it ended up getting better. Monday came around. It's Tuesday now. Monday came around. And I was like, I'm good. I can have sex. But all weekend I was really horny. And, that friction would have just not been good. But I was looking it up because I actually have an OBGYN appointment next week. Now everybody really knows what's going on with my vagina. Wow.
Yeah, we do.
Just sharing it all. But I could have had micro tears from scratching, which was dumb. But there's ointments and things you can put on it to alleviate that
Mm,
issue. But
yes.
all my years of running, I've never experienced anything like that. So at first I was like, do I have an infection? What's going on? And then I realized, no, you did that to yourself. You didn't have an infection. You scratched the hell out of yourself because you had chafed your labia. So cool.
Yeah, you probably just like your shorts were just a little weird or
Right.
something like a little tight or a little loose in the wrong way, and then you made it worse by because it felt so good to scratch, you just had to keep scratching. That'd
Yeah.
be my guess.
Yeah.
Um,
So now you
well,
know I haven't had sex in a while because of that. Yay.
and oddly, that reminds me of two independent stories.
Oh
One
god, did you
was
chafe your balls or something? I mean, what other
no, the
relevant
head. I chafed the head of my dick from jerking off too hard, because like as you go up the shaft and and so I did that too much and ended up like bleeding and ended up like to the point where I was jerking off too hard one day.
so there was blood in your cum pretty
it
much?
was no the no okay come from do we know where we're
Well, you said the tip, right? Or did I just
like the head under the head of the dick like like
under?
if you
Okay,
imagine like
okay.
a dick is like a mushroom. It's the mushroom head
I've
part
never
that's
seen a
underneath the
penis before, Adam. Thank you. I was sorry. I was more focused on my vagina
oh
when you were talking, so that's why I'm like, where does the blood go? I don't know.
yeah, no. It was just blood like after I jerked off that I had blood on my hand from jerking off because I'd scraped one area too raw. This was a while ago and I just I had masturbated too much that day. And it hurt so bad, so I had to stop. And like I remember, literally, like had to like peel my hand off my dick. Like that's oh yeah, it was not a good feeling. So I remember going like 2 days, and I was probably like 21, 22. So like going 2 days and like not doing anything with my dick and then realizing like no, I really need to jerk off, like I need to do something. And so that's when I learned some restraint that like if I could just if I didn't like full force like force choke my dick and just like just grapple with it like it's a snake you're wrestling out of the water, but
You
actually
didn't
like
use lube, did you? I'm guessing.
no, I didn't usually have anything like that.
Yeah.
Usually it wasn't a big deal. But then I was like, oh, it actually feels good if I only focus on the tip of my dick and I don't actually use anything else, just on the head, just like rub just the tip of that, then I can come just from that. And that actually took me some time to get to that point. And I was like, oh, this is actually nice. And it wasn't affecting any of the wounded areas. So I was able to continue masturbating. But yeah, so it taught me a lot about what I enjoyed and where the pleasure centers were on my penis, that I really didn't have to wrestle it like it was a spastic monkey in order to enjoy it. That I could actually just go nice and quiet, put on a little bit of mood music, and just gently
Why am
use
I
my
imagining
thumb and
this?
rub the head of my dick.
Why?
I know you
Why?
really are.
I'm literally
Just
imagining
mute
you
music. I'm just like
wrestling a
la,
snake right now.
just da da da, just on the
Stop
thumb.
it.
Yeah.
Stop it. No, no.
And so anyways, that was one thing that this made me think of. The other thing is you saying that the scratching, but it just felt so good that you can't stop.
No restraint.
And I have recently experienced this is I don't think we talked about this, but because I never can remember what I've been willing to share and haven't shared. But where I am here in New Hampshire, I have they have really hot water. Have I talked about this?
I don't even know where the fuck you're going
Okay.
with this, so please
Okay.
continue. Hot water. This is a new one.
All right, so I try to keep very clean. I'm very meticulous, and everything like that. And one area that I try to keep very clean is anything related to my ass and balls and a whole area. Like I always, and there's a detachable shower head here in the shower, so I detach it and I usually like put it on the jet, and I will clean that whole area, make sure the whole area I want it all to be very cleansed after I should, because it's very important to me. It's just that's what I like. But at one point I was doing that, and the hot water like kicked in full force
Oh
because
no.
I had it on the hottest, and all of a sudden, I was basically spraying a jet of like boiling hot water almost directly into my asshole by accident, just because like just the angle. Because the force changed when the water kicked in. You know how like the water like all
I
of a sudden
just
it goes
see
from
you
like a
jumping. I just like,
okay,
oh my god,
yeah,
up my
except you know
ass.
what happened? I was like, oh shit, this feels good.
Really?
And like it was scaldingly hot, and I started, and then I would use it to clean around the balls, around the whole area, the whole V of that, like your upper thigh, where your thighs meet your groin and all that, and like the where your veins are, you know, like if you put pressure on that on a guy, like it feels really good. Actually, on a woman too, like you know, like if a guy's going down on you and he kind of kisses your upper thigh, like the inside of your upper thigh, that area.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about? You're nodding,
Yep.
but we have a podcast. People actually have to hear what you're
Oh
saying.
my god. I'm interested in the story and where
But I'm
it's
asking
going
you
to
a
go. I
question.
have my comments. I have my
Do you know what I'm
comments.
talking about? Like, but the area, like the upper inside thigh, that like if like a guy were like to
Thighs, yeah.
kiss or bite that area, how it feels really good because there's like a vein that goes up there. You have
Sure.
you have no idea what I'm talking about. Okay. Anyways,
I mean, I the inside of
anyways,
my thighs, yes, feels good.
okay. So that area it feels good on a guy as well, but with the like the scalding hot water on there, like it was like I was like, oh, like whoa, what the fuck is like this feels good. This is like I was like I could stand here for a few minutes. Like I am enjoying this way too much, and all it is just hot water right on one like yeah, on just like the upper inside thigh of like yeah, right up like next to the balls and that
Okay.
whole area.
But the
And,
next thing is because it's so hot, the blood is so close to the surface that it's making it itchy. So then you had to scratch the shit out of your asshole. Something
no,
like that.
no,
No,
no, there's
I'm
nothing
just
to do with that.
imagining the next thing
No,
is
no, no. It was just the fact that it felt so good, and it's probably not healthy to have water that hot spraying on those areas for very long. But I was sitting there, and I was like, "Oh, this feels so good. How can I stop?" Like it's like it was almost like scratching an itch, except it was just like it was almost like it came really close to the feeling of like when I had a prostate massage and like all of a sudden my legs stopped working. Not a prostate massage, a prostate orgasm, and all of a sudden my legs stopped working. Like that's what was like it was getting close to that feeling, and it was just this accidental boiling water being basically poured on my genitals has basically made this feel good. And so it was very odd.
I really
And
thought the story was going to go a different way. That's why I was like, what are you saying? Continue. What are you saying? I thought it was going to be your asshole was so itchy from the hot water
no, no,
and then you just had to scratch the shit out of your balls and
no,
asshole
no,
and you
no,
started
no,
to
no.
bleed or something. Not this whole it felt really good thing.
No, it was just that it felt really good because you were talking about how you scratch it because it feels like it feels good to get that scratch, and that's what kind of like this was. This feeling of just like this really hot water was just like, oh, this actually kind of feels like this feels good, but in a way that I'm gonna pay for it later. But I didn't. Maybe if I continued the really hot water, but yeah, yeah, no, there was no later on or anything like
Good for
that.
you.
Plus, you know,
Happy
I
for you.
lotion everything. We FaceTime half the time when I'm when I'm getting ready.
And he
So
just lathers up and he just goes right in for the crotch. And I'm like, you're naked right now and you're lathering up your balls. Call me back later. Why would you answer a FaceTime with lotion in your
because
hand already?
well, at least it's
Why?
lotion my hand from just from lotion from moisturizing and not from anything else. I mean, but
But the motion of going from, you're
going from my
nipping
handful
your
of lotion,
straight
I'm
going
like,
onto your crotch. I'm like, I see what's happening here.
yeah, yeah. I've never realized how easy it was to see that till you told me that one time. But anyway, so yes, that was just some you know,
Thank
I
you for
figured if
that.
you're gonna share some you know in-depth stuff, then I might
So
as well
it's
share it.
just inside Adam and Sarah every
It's
episode.
not
We
Adam and
just
Sarah.
give an in-depth what the fuck moment of something going on.
Yeah, yeah, basically. Um, and I don't know why that reminds me too. So you called me the other day when I've been feeling sick. If you hear me sniffling and stuff like that, I apologize. I've had a head cold, but you called me when I was sick and I was about to take a nap, and we chatted for a few minutes. And you said something like, "Oh, just making sure you're feeling better," which is very sweet. And then I immediately fell asleep, and then I had a whole dream about you.
What did I say? What did I do?
You didn't really say much, but you brought soup, but but you were, but you were topless, and I don't know why.
It's you know what it is? It's because you drew boobs of me. You drew that photo last
That's what it
episode, and
is. You
now you
think?
can visualize me topless for whatever reason.
Well, luckily your boobs did
That's
not
you.
look like two misshapen erasers, but I don't remember actually in my dream. I just remember that for some reason you showed up with soup and you were topless, and I was like, yeah, one of those things is very nice, and the other thing I don't understand
Was
why
it
this
the
is
soup
happening.
you didn't understand? What didn't you
No, the soup was wonderful. I was very happy with the soup.
I'm dead.
I was like, but those aren't helping me at all. But the soup is very nice. Thank you very much. I think it's because I was about like I was half in my nap already when you called, and then I went right back to bed. So I don't know where the boobs came from, but the soup was very nice. So I just want to thank you for bringing
You're
me soup
welcome.
in my dream.
I'm glad I could help. Also, I'm not sure why I willingly walked into a room with you in it topless.
I
So
don't remember.
then there's
Like,
that.
there was no explanation. There was no, and there was nothing. There was nothing like sexual about it either. It was just like you were just like here's soup, and that's all. It was just
Hi, Adam. Here's your
no. That's
soup.
No, it wasn't. That's the thing. It wasn't like a sex dream. It was just like it was a matter of fact dream. It was just like if
Here's
you
your
were,
soup.
he's like,
Here's your
yeah,
soup.
here's some soup. Stop being so whiny and feel better. Basically is what it
Drink some
was.
fucking water. That's what I kept telling you on our phone call.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. You did tell me
Remember?
keep hydrating, and I was like, I am. Yeah, but anyways, it was a very bizarre dream, and
Okay.
non-sexual, just filled with nudity.
Cool. So we've covered my vagina, you seeing my boobs in a dream, and your burning asshole.
And my
Is there
burning
anything
asshole.
else we could do this episode?
It's
Where
an
else do you want to go? Where else should we go? Really, is the
it's like an
question.
Elvis song, isn't it? Like hunk of burning asshole. Let's talk about we went
Wait,
from
let's
your
talk about the more important thing, actually, which is actually what I'm more interested in hearing. You loaded or you bought a video game. I don't play video games, so excuse me for the stupid language here, but you bought a video game and a system of what is it? Virtual reality
yeah,
shit.
the Oculus Quest 2.
Whatever.
Yes, which
Yes.
is a VR system, and that might have been where the boobs came from. Now that I think about it, to be honest.
God. Well, to get
Yeah.
into that, yeah. You bought a porn game for your
No.
virtual reality shit? What?
Okay, no, I didn't buy any porn game, but it's a virtual reality headset. So you put the headset on, two controllers, and then you have this virtual reality world, and it's very interesting and it's very immersive and crazy. And even people who are kind of like skeptical about it put it on, and they're like, "Holy shit, that's amazing!" So I was in Maine for a week, and while I was there, my best friend Lisa came up and to visit, and so our first night after we went out drinking that night, we went back and I was like, all right, you got to try the virtual reality. So she tries it, and then she's like, all right, how do I look at porn? Because I was like,
That was
that's
the
one of the
first
things
thing
that you
she
have to
said.
do. Pretty much, yeah. She's like, we got
Okay.
to try out the porn. So I set it up, and basically all you do is you just go to Pornhub because there's a browser on it too, like a web browser. But
Oh.
Pornhub has VR, which is recorded with special cameras to give like the basically feeling of the point of view of the person who's with the thing with the the helmet on is actually able to see like it's them. Yeah, it
Really?
it's mostly designed for men,
I
and
I can imagine,
yes,
yeah.
and I would say almost probably pretty much all just straight men, because all it is just it's women basically in front of you, naked women, and it's all point of view porn. So Lisa tries it on, and she
Oh,
is like she's like freaking out at first. She's like she's like trying to like someone's coming at her and she's trying to like kick them away. She's like, wait, I don't want you, and she's like trying to freak out, and then she realizes she has a dick, like that her
can you
character, but
see that?
yeah, you look down and there's just you just look down, you have a dick and the actor's hands and stuff like that. Now you don't have any ability to control any of it, so it's just a movie that plays. But at one point I
Uh,
remember she was just like, yeah, it's just so weird. Like I'm not moving, but I look down and my hips are thrusting and I'm fucking this girl with my with my dick, which is my and she said something like she goes, my mental dick is a lot bigger than this guy's. Like my mental dick is like another 3 inches bigger.
oh
So
my
in
God.
her head, she's got like a foot long dick, I think. But I did also look into it, and there are VR games for porn, and you can pay for them. And I was not willing to, but I decided to try a demo just to see. And it is some creepy ass shit. Like, just imagine, like, it's just you're there,
No, I
and
don't
just you
want
have a
to.
character that just comes up, and like you have your hand controllers, and so you can use your hand to like spank her, You can use a hand to finger her if you want.
Oh no. Oh no.
And then you can use your hand to motion how fast you're having sex with her. So your virtual dick, which is really bad graphics too. Like I've seen video games that are like so realistic you can barely tell this is not
Right.
those. These are like 8-bit like Mario
1995.
Kart. Yeah, this is like fucking yeah. This is like Princess Peach and Mario. Like that's how bad the pixelated graphics are. And then you can choose to like come on her back or whatever you want, and
How
it
do
is
you
weird.
choose that? Do you just move over and then
You know,
say
you
I'm
just
gonna
basically like you move back and forth, and then you let go, and I think there's a motion you do to like there's a lot of it's hand motions and things like that. And
the fuck?
yeah, and actually, I when I get a chance, I think I might have recorded some because you can record everything that you see while like when you're in VR, you can set up to record clips and everything like that. I think I recorded a clip. I'm gonna have to send you at some point if I did during that, just to show you what it was like. But it is fucking weird. If I can get that downloaded off the Oculus, then I will. But it was
I would
weird, but
just
it was
rather watch porn at that point. I guess the point of view situation's a little different, but if it doesn't seem realistic, I don't know. I mean,
well the
maybe
one that
it's something
so
someone's into, but I don't know.
I did watch one where I had the headset on and it was just essentially a blowjob video where it's just the actress was just giving this unnamed character a blowjob, and so you just look down and you're having your dick sucked, and it is a weird bit of disconnect because it does kind of for a second feel like oh it's real, but then you reach and you're like, oh no, there's nothing on my dick right now, there's nobody there, but
That
um
doesn't look like my penis.
yeah, exactly.
Like, realistically, that's a
Yeah, yeah.
very well endowed penis, or that's not my
Right.
skin tone, or I don't know.
Yeah, and a lot of it's a little bit weird. It would like if it was one of those things where you had a full body suit on that gave you all types of sensations, that would be one thing. But it was it was interesting. It wasn't really quite the the experience worth it. The rest of the actual virtual reality is worth it. Like I enjoy the reason like all the other stuff, the games and all that is really fun. But the porn stuff still needs work, which surprised me because usually with new technology, porn is the forefront. Like they're the ones that come out first with how do we make this about porn? How do we make this about getting
I
off?
think it's the sensation thing that's lacking in
Yeah.
VR, that they don't want to invest in something where you can't really satisfy that. I don't know. It's a different
Well, I bet they're probably working on that because, like, they have sex toys now that you can, like, yeah, you were talking about these sex
the
toys that you
underwear
can,
thing.
yeah, like you can either put in or like love sense beads or whatever that other people can
True.
can control. So that you could arguably put stuff in. You could put something in your, either wrap around your dick or in your butt or whatever that that then could vibrate in different ways that would make you feel like you're about to, about to come too. So I guess there's are things they could eventually do and probably are working on, and I will have to
Among
continue
many other
to
things.
do research and report back on the updates in technology as they happen.
And this was Adam's technology report.
That's right.
Well, we just have segments like this now. And now for the news. No. I
Oh,
going back to the underwear thing, I know that's something Master of None has always wanted to do. Of would you
yep.
be interested in me, or I guess the balls that he bought me, the Benoit balls,
Uh-huh.
to wear them in public, but I don't know if haven't done it. And then
The
we
Benoit balls, like, are they remote?
they
Like
don't
someone?
no,
Oh, oh,
they don't vibrate or anything, but just I would have them in type of thing,
oh,
and he would
yeah.
like knowing that I had them in while we were out in public. But I think the vibrating underwear, vibrating anything scenario where he could control it out in public, you would just hear me scream in a random aisle in Target, and be like, "What the fuck?" I don't think that's gonna work. I don't
Uh,
think.
See, I think that's kind of. I mean, you would you just scream if you were
No,
wearing something?
I would how I looked when I was walking as my vagina was chafed, that's how I would look if that thing was going on. I'd be like, "Oh, fuck, shit, oh god, but only quieter, and he would just laugh.
So it just wouldn't be sexy then in that way, is what you're saying.
No, it wouldn't be
Uh,
sexy. No. I'd be trying
uh,
to take off the underwear and go to the bathroom and be like, "I gotta get these fucking things off of me. I'm going commando. No way."
that's no fun. Maybe sometimes you should just indulge them just for a day, just to see just to report
I
back.
should. I
That'll be
should.
your way of reporting on technology, and then we have different types of
Okay,
technology we
okay,
can report
cool.
on.
I have my assignment. I have been assigned
There we
some
go.
to be continued.
Uh, um, Yeah, that's true. The panty thing is, it's always one of those things that I think is probably more of a fantasy for men than it is for women. This idea of like being able to like control like the sensation a woman's feeling and like at any moment, and have her and then men have this idea that it's gonna immediately and always be hot. Like that you're always gonna be like, oh, like not just be like, fuck no, I'm trying to do something right now, like I just want to drink my coffee. Like why are you like
Yeah.
why are you trying to
Why are you
why do you
trying to
have
make
this
me
thing going
come
on
with
for
my
right?
coffee? No
Yeah, no, can
thanks.
I just finish my coffee? Can I yeah, exactly. I'm trying to FaceTime with my dad right now. Can we just like, or
Can we
whatever.
just,
Like it
yeah, pause?
but I think men just have this idea that it would always be hot, that you'd like that women when they're turned on are just incapable of like functioning as adults, which is we know not true, but there's
Past
that
have done that
fantasy.
though. Of I'll be FaceTiming or on the phone with a friend and he's like gone down on me while I won't say which friend, but I was on the phone with a friend and he was eating me out and I just looked at him like we're not fucking going any further than this because I can't pay attention to the conversation right now. And he thought it
Right.
was funny, but it was fine because it was not that serious of a conversation. It was a quick, hey, do you have this? Blah, blah, blah. But still, I was
Yeah.
trying to get off the phone because I was just trying to focus on actually getting eaten out. So,
Right, right. Yeah, and I know it wasn't me because I really feel like I
oh,
would be able to
there's
tell.
no
I
way
think
we would risk it with you. There's no way.
yeah,
No.
I would be able
Mm.
to tell. I'm pretty sure with you.
Okay, then we got to try it. Challenge accepted. New
I,
assignment.
I know you pretty well. I know you pretty well, and I can tell when you're distracted just by an email. So
But you can't
I can.
see my face though. It would just be a regular phone call. I
Oh,
don't know
right.
if you'd be able to tell.
Well, that would be weird by itself, just a regular phone call. So I don't
I
know.
know,
Maybe
but
it's
that was
not.
the
Yeah.
scenario that I was in before.
Okay.
Just
Okay.
a regular phone call, which is easy to mask if you're
Yeah, that's
getting eaten
true.
out, you know?
That is
But
true.
FaceTime, then you're playing with fire on that one.
Yeah. No, I mean the times I've jerked off when I've been on the phone just with random people, just because I was already in the mid jerking off. Yeah, it's easy to
Probably.
mask that type of stuff.
Hopefully not.
Hopefully, what?
Hopefully not.
Hopefully,
Probably. But
probably at least once, I'm sure. But
cool.
yeah.
Moving on.
I wanted to before we break for the for our half, I wanted to talk about this. It actually became a little controversial. This something I saw on Reddit that I posted in our Facebook group that was interesting.
Facebook.com/group/DKS podcast.
That is correct. Yes. This person posted on Reddit that my girlfriend said I am not affectionate enough, so now I treat her like my dog. She
Already
said,
problematic. Sorry.
right, the
Keep going.
title we know is problematic. Like I feel like the title's poorly written, but let's just talk about the actual thing, actual post. I rarely show emotion. I'm very reserved and level-headed, so my emotions, whether positive or negative, rarely spike too much. But I love my dog more than anything or anyone. She gets more life and emotion of me than anyone. My girlfriend recently sat me down and told me she needs more affection. She knows I don't wear my emotions, and that generally includes her, even though she knows I love her. I'm not handsy. I kiss her when appropriate and let her know I love her when appropriate. Oh, that's another. Yeah.
There's so
Uh,
many issues
yeah,
already.
I know. But since that talk, I've been thinking of my affection for her like I do my dog. I get super excited to see her like my dog does when I get home. My dog constantly wants scratches, so I always rub her shoulders or play with her hair or have my hand on her thigh. I love when my dog gets kissy and playful, so I get kissy and playful with my girlfriend in the same way. My dog loves when I give her a new toy or treat, so I have little gifts and snacks to give to her when the mood strikes. What a difference. My girlfriend loves it. And it's easy for me because I literally just treat her like my dog, but without the baby voice. It's renewed our passion, and she is so happy and can't understand how I turn my emotions around so easily.
Women aren't people, guys. That's it. That's it. We're just dogs.
I don't, yeah.
First off, the lack of emotion is concerning. He only shows affection for his dog in general, kind of concerning. He gives her treats.
The
I just have little treats ready for her. She's not a real woman. She can't fend for herself. She's helpless. She's an animal.
it's eh, so yeah, like the whole thing is just like I don't know how to
He
treat
posted this and felt good about it is
right.
what I'm thinking. He said, "Let me share my revelation with the world because hopefully it helps other men out there." And I don't think he was expecting any backlash whatsoever.
Well, and so my response to this was that this was sociopathic behavior and very dehumanizing. But then there were a lot of people that commented, and this wasn't in our group, but in another group that I saw, and they all had what they said was that this all felt like this person was neurodivergent. That they had
Familiar with that.
neurodivergent versus neurotypical. It's not to try. I'm going to mangle this, so anybody who's listening who is doing it, it's essentially on the autism spectrum.
Okay, gotcha.
It just is so like that's not exactly what it means, and I know that to everybody who's listening who's yelling at me right now. I know this, but that's maybe the quickest and simplest way to kind of
I can
explain the
understand that,
difference.
but yes, okay.
So yeah, just essentially they process things not in a neurotypical way, but in a more divergent way.
Okay.
And so a lot of people like that who are neurodivergent tend to be very reserved. They don't always show their emotions and things, and sometimes they don't actually know the best ways to react in social situations unless they observe it happening from someone else or unless they can relate it to something else that they do
Right.
appreciate.
Like the dog scenario.
So being able to say, oh, well, I don't know how to treat a human being who I'm dating. So I think about it like how I treat my dog and it works. So I just apply those same principles to her and she's happy.
It reminds me of Dexter.
See, that's what I thought, but then everybody's saying no, he's just neurodivergent. But yes, in my opinion, this is beyond that. This is someone who is acting like Dexter. Like this is someone who is just like, oh well, they like when you give them scratches
I need
behind
to
the
act
ear.
like a person and put on my person face to fit in with society. So this is how I'm going to do it. Because if he doesn't do those things to quote unquote treat her like a dog, then he's not being his true self. He's just putting on a face to be a good partner.
Yeah, right, and that's the really weird thing. So if this is someone who's completely neurodivergent and doesn't have the ability to understand accept by this, I still think it's a little problematic. I still think he'd be
Don't
better
compare
off.
women to an animal.
Yes.
But first off,
I also like wonder, okay, well, if you were in a burning house and you had, you had your dog and your girlfriend and you had to try like one of them you had to rescue, you're gonna rescue your
the
dog.
dog. Oh,
Yeah,
for sure.
the girlfriend's out of luck. But so maybe instead, I would suggest honesty and transparency and just say, hey, these are hard for me.
I
So I'm
struggle with
gonna, yeah, I
this.
struggle with this, and I know you know this, but I'm trying to but here are some things that I'm trying to do. I'm trying to, maybe duplicate this behavior that I've seen in, blah blah, or I'm trying to, at least maybe
I don't know if I would
mirror,
say that out loud, but I would say, how would
maybe,
you like to be shown affection? How would you like to be talked to? You just have that conversation instead of saying, well, my dog likes treats,
right.
so you must like treats. And my dog likes belly rubs, so you must like belly rubs. Like, what the fuck?
And it's also like he also says, Dan, it's renewed our passion. No, it hasn't. You didn't have passion for her. You don't have any passion for her.
Does he fuck his
So,
dog? Sorry, that is so.
oh, that is.
My dog likes to be fucked, so you must like to be fucked. I mean, if
Well,
we're really going that fucking far.
that's what I'm saying. Like it is such a weird, and so it also part of me also wonders if this is a troll post by somebody who either is maybe mildly neurodivergent or isn't at all, but wants to kind of mock that. And that's but in the end, it's a very bizarre thing that's very controversial. And I thought it was very cut and dry, but then as more people chimed in, it was like, well, no, this is how someone who maybe isn't neurotypical might try to develop behaviors. And then I still think, well, maybe the girlfriend should be somebody who you can share these things with and talk to about, and she can
Because you're
understand.
hiding that.
Well, yeah, that she can understand how you see things and maybe try to appreciate that, and I appreciate you for you, rather than expecting you to change, But so the whole thing was just odd, and I wanted to share it with listeners because I think it might cause a little bit of controversy from listeners too. But I'd be interested in hearing what listeners have to say about it as well.
See, when men give dating advice, I always come from the perspective of they suck
True,
already.
that's
So
very true.
hearing the dog thing, it's already starting at a -10 for me with just the intro or the headline of this fucking post that it just got worse. And then I didn't really consider mental health that much until it was like lack of emotion. And then maybe that was even earlier on. But the first line, I was just thinking garbage men, Can't go
Yeah,
back
yeah.
to that really.
I still think it's problematic, and I still think it's an issue. I still think it's dehumanizing, and even if the person is maybe not neurotypical, and they're still trying to figure out how to treat their girlfriend, maybe this is not the best approach to do so because it is dehumanizing. Maybe instead you try to elevate the dog to your girlfriend's level. You humanize the animal or something like that. I don't know. There's got to be, but I just feel like there has to be another way to look at it.
Fuck your dog.
And
That
no,
that's
we
I'm
we are
kidding.
not saying
I'm
to
just
fuck the
trying
dog.
to make this a lighter first
We're
half,
not
okay?
saying to fuck the dog. It's been pretty light. We've talked about all types of
I
body
know. Let's not
parts.
go back. Let's not relive the past here. Let's keep moving forward.
Yes. Let's keep moving forward with a big thank you to our newest patron, Melissa DeWoskin. Thank you very much for supporting us on Patreon, which you can as well for as little as $5 a month at patreon.com/DKS podcast. Is that correct? Did I do it right?
There's whole links in
It
the
did. Yeah, there are, and I did
Thank
it
you.
correctly.
There's
Good. Yeah,
highlighted links in our doc.
I
Yes.
know, I know. You're so organized, and I pay so little attention to all of that
I know
effort
you
that you put
do.
into it on a regular basis. But I want to say thank you to Melissa and thank you to anybody else that supports us. We do usually have bonus videos going up, and
You can see full on vagina shots of me on our Patreon. No, this is not an
you
OnlyFans.
cannot. This is
But
not an OnlyFans.
realistically, that video you can with me in sweatpants, yes.
I was watching it. There was no vagina. I promise.
No, and thank God there wasn't any because that would have been mortifying. But number two, it's because the video cut half of my body off when I was
That's
doing
true
that
too.
position that I got real lucky. That's all.
But I was watching it in the full screen, anyways, and you could not.
Oh, I know.
You
And
couldn't
that's what
see anything.
scared
There was
me
no
was that
vagina.
Adam
Yeah.
just saw a straight up crotch shot.
I
And
saw
that's
your
way,
your crotch, but your crotch
that's
in
way too
sweatpants. It's not like a dick in
cute,
sweatpants. Like a
but
dick in
it's
sweatpants
you.
is yeah. This is
But it's still you.
it's like seeing a Camry in sweatpants is what it was.
Oh my God. Okay, cool. Well, thank you guys so much for listening. We're done for the day, actually. We're just going to wrap it up
What are you
here.
talking
Be sure to like and subscribe for more. Bye.
about?
No need for a fucking second
We're just
half
waiting for
after that.
Camry to join us as a sponsor. Is all we want now is Toyota.
Oh, I hate you so fucking much.
Um,
And with that, we'll be back.
I know now I'm dying, coughing, and laughing. I can't help it. But yes, we'll be back after a short break.
You bitch.
Well, unless something amazing or weird or surprising happens in the next 2 weeks,
With
this is
us?
actually what?
With us?
With
Never.
us in general or the world, who knows? There might be
True.
some, a second pandemic. Who the fuck knows? Anyways, this is actually going to be our last episode of 2021 because this episode will be coming out on what December?
This weekend or this week? I
Yeah, the
don't
10th
fucking
or
know. The
whatever.
10th? Yeah.
Yeah, and so we're not going to put out an episode on fucking Christmas Eve. What's the point of that? And not
Enjoy
that
your
Sarah.
holidays. You don't need to
Yeah,
hear about Inside Adam and Sarah 2.0, you know?
that's right. So unless anything amazing happens, this will be the last episode of the year, and we'll be back in January, of course, with brand episodes. But I just wanted to say thank you to everybody for sticking with us this last year, and and wish you happy holidays if you're listening over the holidays. Sarah got an early Christmas present actually
Oh, I was
recently.
like, where are you going with this holiday thing?
Where's this segue going?
Is
I
this
know
the
because we
start of the
never.
episode again? Okay.
Yeah, Sarah got an early Christmas present a couple days ago when someone started a porn Instagram account with her name on it.
See, and we didn't even have an emergency episode for that either. It was
I know.
I just laughed at it at first because a couple of men who follow me, who I don't personally know, messaged me going, "Is this you?" I'm so excited. And I'm like, "No, it's not me. This person just took all of my bathing suit pics and decided to make a fake account to sell porn of someone who is not me." So then I suggested all my followers report the account. But then I learned that you shouldn't just report it for impersonating me. You should actually report it for sexual solicitation. And then you can get it taken down. But in the
Exactly.
meantime, the account was saying, "Watch me masturbate live." And so many great reviews from so many different clients. And I was like, wow, they're getting a lot more action than me with my chafed vagina over here. Damn.
I know, because one of them said something about your butthole. I feel like one of
Yeah, I
them.
think something was with my ass. Yeah.
Yeah, the reviews are hilarious, and then it basically leads to a place to steal someone's credit card information because you never actually get to it says it's like a Fansly site, but it's not. Like the link goes somewhere else, and all these things, and then eventually, you pay put your credit card in there just to see Sarah naked, and then
Joke's
nothing.
on you.
Yeah,
You lost your social security number
yeah.
and all that other shit.
All
Goodbye.
you could do instead is just have a weird dream about her bringing you soup, and you'd be all set. You wouldn't even need to pay for it. But yeah, so that was one of those things that I have found. I have a lot of friends that have had that happen on Instagram, and that if you report them for sexual solicitation, then it'll get removed almost immediately because they're never very subtle about it. It's always very explicit, like,
What
here's
pussy
my porn
baby?
site. Here's yeah, here you come see me naked. You want to schedule a meetup? It's very very aggressive. So if you do that, that violates the standards, and they get banned very quickly. But if you try to do it as impersonating you, here's the thing: they'll just be like, "Oh, sorry, we looked at it. And it's not you because your username doesn't have a 3 at the end of it." Basically, is what they'll do, even
Yeah,
though
they took my username and added a fucking 3. That's so
they're
dumb.
your pictures. Like, and it's so frustrating that Instagram is so terrible at that they won't take it down. So that was kind of entertaining.
That's how I knew I made it that day. It's
That's
like,
right.
damn, someone wants to sell photos of me that don't exist on the internet. And of course, Master of None's like, well, can I see them? Can I see
Can
the
I,
photos?
can I
What
see-
photos? You know, I don't
which
take them.
I know, and the ones in the bathing suit we've all seen because they're from your Instagram.
Yeah, so scandalous.
So
Anyways, just
scandalous.
wanted a disclaimer on that or recap on that crazy thing
Or
that
just yeah,
happened.
because a lot of people have that happen. Like you might have an Instagram and have that happen. Try to figure out what do you do, and that's the best thing about to do. Just report them for solicitation, and that'll be it. And if any of your quote unquote friends lose their credit card information trying to see naked pictures of you like that, it serves them
Go to the
basically.
source.
Yeah, yeah. Well, just go to the source. But I'm saying it just it's what they get for being creepy and trying to like see that without like I don't know. It's just a sleazy
Adam,
thing to do.
the guy I kind of fooled around with before I met Master of None texted me. I have not heard from this guy in a year, 2 year, almost 2 years. And he goes, "Is this you?" And I was like, "Oh, I know." Because I denied him because we made out and then he wanted to see my boobs. Why does this always keep going back to my boobs? He wanted to see my boobs. And I said, not really feeling it. But, slutty me, I was like,
Oh yeah, so
any
slutty.
guy.
Yes.
Any guy, I was like, whip off my shirt, go eat me out. And I was like, I'm not feeling this, dude. But he was like, "Oh, is this you? I just want to let you know if it isn't you." And I was like, "You thought it was me. Just fess up. It's fine."
Wait. Not Orlando friend.
This is a friend who lives in
Not
Alabama.
Oh, Alabama friend. Okay, Alabama person.
Alabama
Okay.
friend.
I
Yeah.
was thinking because I was like, I was thinking after our meetup, that
No, not that friend.
not
No,
that
no,
friend,
no.
and I was like, I can't imagine him
Now
doing
he's
that.
gonna message me after and be like, "I could have seen your boobs." No, no. Actually, he did. Just
Did he
kidding.
see your
Everyone
boobs? Okay.
he can see
Yeah.
my boobs in your dreams. Yay. Tits all around.
Um. Yeah. It's all around. Tits up. There we go. I've been watching Marvel's Mrs. Maisel again to get ready for
Yeah.
for the new season that comes out February 19th, which I'm very excited about. But anyways, tits up is such a great line for that.
Anyways, the
So
actual topic we wanted to discuss on the second half that we've been
yes,
bantering about
yes.
nothing, but
Uh, so it's kind of a hard topic to put into words and try to describe in a way, but essentially, I wanted to talk about the difficulty that people who are maybe perpetually single might experience when deciding to go to a committed relationship, to transition from like that single life to that committed life. There are going to be some obstacles that can get in the way, and the reason that I wanted to talk about this and that I brought it up was that I have a very good friend who she met this guy who is a popular bartender and had been basically perpetually single for the last, I want to say like 6 or 7 years. And they really hit it off. They started dating and like they committed to each other. And it was both of them decided to. She didn't like pressure him into committing or anything like that. He was actually completely all gung ho for it. But they've been together for about a year now. But then she found out that over the last several months, he's just been aggressively flirtatious with people. Like they'll
outside
send
of his job,
Well, that's the hard part to
Bartenders
say.
are, yeah.
It's like, is it outside of his job or is it, and so that's something that I want to talk about. But, like to the point of like someone sending him pictures of a bikini and him saying, "Oh, you're fucking sexy, you're, fucking hot," and apparently he had somebody come to the bar and actually like kissed him and he kissed her back, and then
On the
nothing.
lips?
I imagine so.
I guess it doesn't matter,
I,
really.
I don't think it was like a forehead kiss, and I don't think it was. Yeah, I think it was, and he didn't let it go further than that. He stopped it, but his flirtation was pretty aggressive, and she found out about it, and they had this big discussion and argument. Now they're kind of trying to rebuild things and everything because he was like, it wasn't anything that I was. He didn't really.
Technically, it wasn't
Well, he did things wrong. I mean, because it
well,
like wasn't in the spirit of the relationship, but he also it was just the whole situation was very unfortunate. They're working through things, and what's happening with them is almost beside the point. What this got me thinking was just when you are perpetually single and when you're used to a certain life of being able to say and do whatever you want to whom you and with whom you ever you want, that sometimes some of that can kind of have stragglers when you get into a relationship that you're not necessarily meaning to be a bad person, you're not necessarily meaning to do something wrong. It's just aspects of your life that stick around and you have to be actively on the lookout for. And like personally, that I would have a hard time right now if I was to date somebody who wanted a fully monogamous commitment. I would have a hard time with that. Not because I wouldn't want, like, if I was into them to the point that they elevated my life beyond my current life that I'm happy with, and they were worth having, me committing in that way because I wanted to do so, I would have a difficult time just because my current life is so embroiled with just conversations with so many people that isn't necessarily anything wrong.
it's not cheating, it's just your lifestyle.
Yeah, and so like having to start setting up all these walls and boundaries with people that I've never had to do before, in order to commit would be something that I would have to like it'd be a process, and it would be an active process, not something that would just happen instantly. And so I wanted to talk about this.
Yeah, I definitely think if you are the type of person who tends to bounce from relationship to relationship, or you only have small stints of being single of 6 months or less, I don't think this necessarily applies to you because being single for a prolonged period of time of 3 years plus, you build a lifestyle of I'm learning and I've accepted how to be alone. I like being alone to a certain degree. I
Right.
have my own flow. I have my independence. I have things I like to do. And it's not like a switch because this is something I've struggled with. It's not a switch of, oh, I'm single, switch. Okay, now I'm in a relationship. It's I have to ease into this because I don't want to lose anything that I enjoyed in my single life, but I can't keep everything because obviously that's not going to work because now I'm in a relationship.
Exactly. And maybe you might have some kind of an example of like things that you've
Oh,
found,
absolutely.
yeah, since getting with Master of None.
Even just as simple as when I was in Portugal and I don't know, I used to travel for work all the time solo and then I would download Bumble or Tinder or whatever and then go out with people in these cities and see the city, go home with somebody, and that was kind of my fun single girl thing I did
Right.
pre-pandemic. And so being in Portugal alone, the world is my fucking oyster, and I'm sitting at this cafe, just landed in Portugal, and these two attractive men from the UK sit down next to me. I'm finishing up my meal. They look at the menu, and one of them literally goes, "Okay, the next thing we have to do is find an attractive American girl to chat with and get to know." And I think they knew I was American, and I hadn't said anything. I was just sitting
Right.
there
Right.
vibing with my luggage next to me, so it was obvious that I didn't live there to a certain capacity, but I old me would have just turned over and I'm not American girl. Hi, I'm Sarah. Nice to meet you. But I really internally struggled with this because I wanted to say hi. And then I thought, where the fuck is this going to go? You're going to talk to two attractive men who don't live in the same country as you, who are single, who want to meet another single person. You're not single. Why would you entertain this? But the initial urge of when I heard him say that, it activated a Holy Spirit activate. It activated
Holy
my old, it activated my old single sensation of turn over to him and make small talk. And this is what you do when you're solo and you're traveling for work or whatever. And I had to stop myself because I knew that's not what you can do. I could have said hi, after that, but I wanted to jump right in after they said I'm looking for an attractive American girl. I was like, I'm an attractive American girl.
Well, because I mean, that's the thing is like, yeah, before Master of None, you could have just gone with the flow. Not, and the thing
Yeah.
is even if you hadn't done anything with them, if they might have become friends with people that follow you on Instagram, and then later on try to subscribe to a fake Instagram profile of you on, on a sex site. But like, you could have also just as easily said to them, like you probably, and I think maybe, I don't know, this is obviously within the bounds of your relationship, but you probably could have said, hey, I'm not single, but I'm American. If you want, like, if you need somebody else to, want a wingman or something for the night, like, you want a wing woman, like you probably could have like introduced yourself
Yeah,
and
I
made
could.
some friends.
But safety
Yeah,
was
we'll
the
see.
biggest
Yeah,
thing. I
safety is
had
important.
just landed there. This was my first solo trip in another country, and I was gonna just jump the gun, and I was gonna do that next approach of, well, just talk to them. It's fine. You don't have to be single to talk to them. And then I went, two guys who are familiar with the area more than I am, just landed here, single girl. Let's pass on this.
That's good.
I
That's good.
was
I mean,
erring on the side of caution with that one.
yeah,
But
that is important.
yeah, that's all. I mean,
Oh, I
that's
thought you had more. I thought you had
no,
more
no,
you were
no.
gonna say about
It just
it.
it just was a mindset shift of, oh, that's how I used to act. Here's how I'm gonna act with this now. And I had to like consider that because I almost went back to my old ways. Not that it would have been cheating or anything. It just would have felt to me a little grimy to then
Yes.
act on them saying a single American girl and me turning over like I'm not in a relationship. What the fuck?
And I think that it's good that your instinct was to be like, oh, that that I shouldn't do that. But it was something that, the funny thing is it was something that stood out because you brought it up to me. And just like
Felt weird
how,
about it. I really
yeah,
struggled with it because I was like, old me would have just turned to them and chatted with them and enjoyed to flirt. And Master of None and I have had this conversation of flirting is just a human interaction. It is a natural human interaction. Everybody flirts. Women are better at it than men, statistically, I believe.
yeah.
But it's a fun thing to do, and he has no problem with it. He was like, "Yeah, if you want to flirt with people, I know you're coming home with me." But that's the dynamic of our relationship. But I think I still would have felt guilty about that.
Well, and
And
that's, and if you feel guilty, then there's something in your head that's telling you that it's not okay.
yeah,
Usually,
yeah.
not always. Sometimes it's, a trauma response from like emotional abuse, but that's not the case in this situation. And that's been something that I've wrestled with, is that, that when you are single, when you've been single for several years like I have, I do what I want when I want to. If I'm chatting with someone, I'm chatting with someone, but I'm not exclusive to somebody. I can chat with whomever I want. I can, like, I don't answer to anybody. If I decide just to go off the radar for a couple days and not talk to anybody, then I can just go off the radar.
Yeah.
And all of those things are things I would have to consider if I were to get into a kind of a committed relationship with someone. Is that I'd have to basically reassess almost every interpersonal relationship I have if I got into a committed, like, monogamous relationship with somebody, and be like, okay, is this something that is an acceptable thing for our average person? Because I know that
You're
my
not average.
well, that my conversations with people are not normal, and that I don't, what happens. I mean, the random number of people that I've ended up having phone sex with, or things like that are just out
They're
of the
just
blue.
friends now that you
Yeah,
still talk to,
I
but
still talk
yeah.
to, and yeah, or and are just like something, we're made out with, and and they're just friends, but we made out that one time, and so like those are things that I'm just like, okay, well, it didn't, nothing further happened, but now I'm like, okay, well, if that person's
But
still
that
in my
past
life,
relationship kind of hovers over if you hang out with them and you're in a relationship of going, am I
right?
in the wrong? It's the same thing with what's his face, the gentleman, and seeing him and chatting with him of feeling guilty of why was I really enjoyed talking to him and just catching up with him. Should I feel guilty about that? No. But I don't know how, at the time I didn't know how Master of None was going to respond to it. And I knew it wasn't
Hmm.
cheating, but it just felt like I should walk on eggshells with this a little bit considering how my partner would could potentially feel.
Yeah. Excuse me. Yes. And I think that the other aspect of this is that both you and I, and like anybody who's like in any type of service industry job, or anybody who's like maybe like a stripper or anything like this, they, a lot of their ego, a lot of their personality also gets boosted from attention.
Mm-hmm.
And you shouldn't want your partner to be the only source of your attention. Like you shouldn't expect that from your partner, because it's unhealthy to have that, to like they have to be the only person that. So you should have friends, etc. But if you're somebody whose life is fueled on attention, like when you create content or things like that, or you're a bartender
Right.
where your whole job is out there trying to get people to come in and see you, or you do like I said, for like what I do, like just the content creation and all that stuff. I would never expect my partner to give me full attention, but then also the attention that I need from that audience, at what point is it healthy, and at what point does it become unhealthy? And that's a really difficult line.
It's you commenting back to your friend's scenario of why we're having this entire discussion, of you having interactions with them and saying, you look so hot in this pic. Oh, you're so beautiful. I think that's a hard line where
Yes, I agree.
you shouldn't engage in any of those conversations. You should also be careful to dive too deep into a follower's personal life. If they're DMing you on TikTok or anything like that, you should kind of keep it more on a friendlier note than a personal note with some of those relationships of people you don't necessarily know. I know you probably won't do that, but because you're sighing already, but that's something for me of
Well,
I
I'm not
message,
sighing, but okay.
I give advice through Instagram DM to listeners on this show, and I have no problem with it, but there's a line of I'm not gonna get too personal on my life, and I don't want us to have this close relationship pen pal thing, because then it makes me feel like there's an emotional thing there when there's not
That's a good point.
a
And
deep emotional thing. Because I think to some level it's a friendly, interpersonal, emotional, get to know each other, whatever, but
yeah.
not on a romantic, invested way, if that makes sense.
Well, and you sent me some of the advice that you've got, like that people have asked you on your DMs. Like I've seen some of those questions, and some of the stuff that they've emailed us through Dating Kind of Sucks as well, like through Instagram and etc. And most of the time, if it's from men, like they have the communication skills of like half drowned puppies. A lot of times, like
Why not
they're
be a puppy? Why's it gotta be a puppy?
I'm just saying, like,
Feel
it's always
sad.
just kind of like it's very rarely well conceived, or it goes into much depth. It's all just about like I don't know. It's just like they're just like throwing shit at the wall sometimes. Sometimes I don't know, but like then I've
Well, some
a
guys
lot
just want to talk to me too.
right,
And so, and
which is a hard
that's
yeah
where you'd have to be really careful. I'm saying more to you because I'm
yes.
very aware of it now of I'm trying to, it's a line of being nice to people and then being too close to someone. And there's a fine line with that. And the in between is like the gray area.
Yeah, yeah, and but it can be that is that gray area, because a lot of the the questions that I get through DMs and things like that are many times very personal, not personal for me, but like personal stories about their lives, very deeply personal things and emotionally vulnerable things, and then they want advice, and I try to give advice, and we try to be supportive and everything, and then continue to be supportive because they need support, and that can be something that I'm like, okay, well then at what point does that become too much attention and too like too supportive, and that can be hard,
I
and
think I think that's part of the switch going on and off. That's not an immediate switch of that goes off, but I think over time, the longer and you're in that relationship, it diminishes. Those interactions diminish greatly because when I was newly in a relationship, I was still getting a lot of DMs from guys saying, "You're so hot," emotional outpour of whatever situation they were going through, and I was trying to manage that. And then the longer I was in I'm still in it. The longer I'm in this relationship, I phrase it like I wasn't. The longer I'm in this relationship,
yeah.
the less messages I get about that. And I think that the stuff I get now, there's more of a clear line, but I've had to taper it. It's a slow tapering off. It's just not a switch of, well, I'm in a relationship now, so I can't respond. It's like, I have to weigh this out. I kind of got to take a step back. I have to play this game. And now I have a good groove, but it's not immediate from being
Yeah.
single to being in a relationship.
Yeah, I think that's true. It is definitely kind of slow moving, and it is, but it is something that I think that people need to start considering, because there are so many adults that are single and have stayed single for a while, because they're not just falling from relationship to relationship. They're actually taking the time and choosing someone that they want to be with.
And they like being single to a degree too.
Yes. Yes, exactly.
That
That
that's the biggest thing.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you're doing it because because the reason to get into a relationship is not because you're desperate, not because you're lonely, not because you're sad. It's because being with that person is a step forward for you.
It makes your life
And
better. You're
yes,
happier with that person. It's not a check mark of now I'm successful because I'm in a relationship and I need this to be happy. You were already happy
exactly.
before.
Exactly. Or you had the potential to be happy before. If you weren't happy before, that was something you should be working on. I mean, we've done so many episodes on how important it is to learn how to love yourself and be happy single, because then you do make better choices. But I can definitely see the pitfalls. And that was one thing I was trying, like when she was going through this, my friend was, and telling me about this with, with her boyfriend. And I was saying, I was like, I'm not excusing his behavior. It's not okay that he did those things. He should have known better than to let that get that far. But at the same time, your perspective is different than his, because her job is not like that at all. Her job is not, she doesn't welcome attention in that capacity. She doesn't, like, it's not a constant feeding of what she does anyways, and it is his. And I think that that can affect things sometimes.
Is she introverted versus him being more extroverted too? Because I do think that matters
Yes.
to a
Yeah, I
degree.
think that's a big part of it as well.
Yeah.
She's introverted. She doesn't do a lot. She's kind of a homebody. She has a circle of friends, and they will go do things. She will do things with her friends, but she prefers to do things with him. She also has other issues that are not relevant, like related to codependency and things like that. But it all boils down to the fact that he, up until this point, had a happy life, perfectly happy life, and he chose to elevate it by being with her. But then there were elements of this happy life that started to, that kind of traveled over with him, and some of those are not just like the cheating thing. Now that's one element I wanted to talk about, was this idea of how far is too far, and the relationships you have with people. But even things like communication can be hard to adjust when you go from being single to being with a partner. Have
Just
you had any?
commenting on me being stupid. Just commenting on seeing a hot guy or something. I'd be like, damn, he looks good. And then Master of None staring by me. I'm like, I shouldn't have fucking said that. That's not saying you don't look good, but like, I'm like, go him. Look at his swagger. Look at whatever. And in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, does that make him feel jealous? But I'm thinking also, I give you compliments all the time, and
Right.
he makes some comments about women, and I'm all for just, I think that adds spice to our relationship of, oh, you like that, or oh, whatever. But that was a fine line of, oh, maybe I shouldn't be so black and white on saying things about other men, because I just been so used to saying shit like that. Or yes,
Sure.
daddy, or like
And I
stupid me driving down the street and I see some guy who's dressed nice or whatever. And I'm like, oh yes, daddy, you looking good. And then he's in the car. I'm like, I didn't mean it like that, but I want to give men some compliments to every once in a while. I would hope someone would drive by and be like, yes, bitch, you look good. I don't know. I didn't yell it out the window. Damn.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. That wasn't the type of communication I was talking about, but I don't think there's
No,
anything, not in any way. But I don't think, but
I know, but I had to get that off my
yeah,
chest. It's
that's
the
I mean
guilt
that's a
is gone
yes,
now.
yeah. And I think that, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that type of thing. That's just you being you. You're not doing it because you're trying to bang the person, and he knows that, and you know that, and that's what's most important, I think. I think that, but no, I was talking about more
No,
like
actual
communicating,
communication.
yeah, like staying in touch with the person, and not just being like going off for the day, and not saying, hey, by the way, just so you know, I'm going to be here, or I'm doing this, or I'm doing that, just
Yeah,
like
yeah.
like
I
accountability
I
type
hate
of
the
thing.
checking in thing. I hate the checking in thing, but I get it more now that we live together. But I like just going out and going, oh, I got my own plan. I'm going to do my own thing. I'm going to fucking leave. Like this weekend, I just wanted to run some errands in the morning, get out of bed, do my own thing. But he's in bed next to me going, why are you getting up? Why are you getting ready?
Right, right.
What do you want to do? And I just want to be like, I'm doing my own thing. Fuck off, bye. I'm going to, in a respectful way, fuck off. But I have to be more considerate of, well, I know you want to stay in bed, but I want to run errands. Sorry. And like apologize kind of that I want to do my own thing and be independent and feel a little of my old self just going out doing shit on a weekend.
Right, right.
And it's a balance of that, but the switch of going, oh no, I can't just say, get out of my fucking bed. I want to make it and leave. Instead going, oh, hey, so here's my plan. And that's been a shift for me of just communicating where I'm going and what I'm doing, where I'm used to just I answer to no one, bitch.
Right.
I'm just gonna do my own thing. Don't fucking worry about it. I'm not dead and I'm doing my thing.
The best part of this is anyone who watches this on YouTube can see you do a little shimmy of your shoulders every time
Just
you're
doing me.
talking
I'm
about
just fucking I
just
knew you were
doing
gonna
me.
say
You're
that
like
too. I started doing a little
you start
shoulder
shimmying
thing
your
and
shoulders, and it's so funny to me.
just doing me.
Um, and then that I don't know what that just was.
I do
And
voice
then it turns into
more.
like a New York Jewish comedian all of a sudden. You're
I
just
know
like,
the more I do it, the more I turn into a voice of some
it's
character.
like,
I
hey,
don't know.
what is the deal with New York? Hey,
Every time.
uh, oh my god. But I think that it is, yeah, the communication would be hard for me because even though I like to talk to people and I like to, sometimes I'd like to communicate and I communicate and share a lot about my life with everybody. I check in places when I go somewhere interesting and things like that. I also like the idea that I can just like disappear and go off for the day and not tell anybody anything,
It's
and
not a
it
diss
can
on
be
them. It's just a you want to
right.
do your own thing. Bothers some
Exactly.
people though of why don't you want me around? It's like, look, I'm just doing my own single life old me thing of wanting to
Yeah.
feel independent and yeah.
Well, like, and here's a perfect example. Is when I was in Maine this last week, I got up at the like at 5 in the morning because I was right on the water and there's a lighthouse, and I was like, I really wanted to see the sunrise and see if I could take some good photos of the sunrise. And so I just woke up, washed my face, put on, got a couple of jackets, got in my car, and drove to the lighthouse, which was like 5 minutes away. Didn't tell Lisa, who was staying at the house with me, didn't tell her where I was going, just went, and wouldn't have wanted a partner with me. Like even if they were awake.
The you thing. You
Oh
enjoy
yeah,
that by yourself.
well, not just that, because also it also means that I can stay there as long as I want without feeling bad about the other person being cold or tired. That I can, continue, like, because I was there from 5 in the morning till like 7:15 once like the sun really came up because I want to make sure I got plenty of cool photos and everything. And but it was just something that I was like, no, this is like me having complete autonomy over my life, not having anybody to worry about. When by the time I get back, nobody will even know that I was gone. And I like that, and I don't like the idea of having to like check in with anybody. And that would be a really big obstacle for me. Would be having to check in on a consistent basis if I wasn't living with somebody. Like if I would just to be like, hey, just so you know, I'm going to be gone in this area. Like I would be more willing to put my find your friends or whatever, like the track thing,
Track my
and yeah,
location and
whatever,
see
and just
what
let them
yeah.
track me whenever, however, for permanently, like, and then just so they know where I am, but like without having to be like, oh, I'm doing this now and I'm doing that now. It just that just drives me fucking crazy.
Yeah, I totally understand that. And it's not a being rude thing. And it's not a I don't want to be in a relationship because I don't want to check in with you. It's a I like doing my own thing and I like not really answering to anyone. And
Yes.
that's not out of a care for the person I'm with or being insensitive. That's just the lifestyle that I've had before of get up and go and do my own thing and answer to no one. But that's hard for a
Exactly.
lot of people to wrap their head around if they've been in relationship to relationship and haven't been single for a long time.
Hmm. Yeah, and I think that as one thing that is a lot of this is like, well, I don't just this is what I like, but the one element of deciding to choose to be with someone is getting rid of maybe the complete, like you can be completely selfish when you're on your own, and that you're choosing to maybe consider someone else. And so if you're making that choice by choosing them in a relationship, to be in a relationship with them, you have to choose that in the other aspects of your life as well.
Yeah.
And but that and so but it takes some of it takes active consideration. Like that's what I think a lot of people might not really think about. People who've been perpetually single, the first time they get in a relationship, they might see like, oh, these are some things that I never even considered I would have to worry about, because it doesn't really occur to you.
Example is just going out to dinner and doing your own thing, and you're like, "Fuck, they're gonna need dinner too. Maybe I should be a considerate
Right.
partner and ask them what they want, or pick them up something." Or if you have a really good day and they have a really bad day, sometimes the bad day is what's gonna get more of the attention, and they're gonna want to talk about it. And you're like, "Well, okay, I'll mention it later." Where sometimes your partner's needs get
Yes.
not put in front of yours, but are at the
No,
forefront of conversation and things
yeah.
where it wouldn't be like that if it was just you riding solo.
Right. Yeah. No. And definitely, sometimes they do take priority, just because we have different, emotional high points and low points at different times.
And that's
Uh,
not to say that you don't mind doing nice things like picking up food for your partner or listening to their problems, but some days it's like, fuck, I wanna it's like that is it a Toby Keith song where it's like, "I wanna talk about me?" You know that song? No?
no, I
Okay, never
couldn't
mind.
name
It's
a
a
Toby
country
Keith
song.
song. If
I'm surprised
I wouldn't know Toby Keith if I ran over
I
him
don't
with
know
my
if it's
car.
I don't know if it's Toby Keith or not, but it's some country artist. I think either Tim McGraw or Toby Keith, whatever. I'm butchering
Uh,
everything, but it's sometimes you
but
just want to.
what was the song that you sang though?
I want to talk about me. More voices, yay! But those are good things in a relationship where, oh, he's having a bad day. I want to be that partner who takes care of him. This is my moment to show that extra love and attention. And then other days it's going, oh, god damn it. Can we just can we just not be in this
Can we
vibe?
not? Yeah.
I just want it to be my show for a day or whatever. And there's an ebb and flow with that, but if it's just you, you're just used to it always being whatever you want to do, waking up on your time, talking to yourself and doing whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah. No, that's very, very true. Um, I think that it is okay in those situations to say things like, um, I need to I need to focus on
Right.
me for a little bit. Like, it's okay to have that space and to need that space. But I think one thing that I wanted to get back to it, and what brought me to this idea of a topic in the first place, is this whole idea of this cheating. That are what we saying, like, are we excusing the cheating as behavior that's okay? No, that's not okay to do that. It's not okay, because in the end, if you had known that it was gonna, like, you knew that whatever you were doing was gonna hurt the person,
Right.
like your partner,
Yeah.
like, you knew that your actions had the potential to hurt them. It doesn't excuse it, but what it does mean is it's just something that you have to really keep in mind. That I think you really have to consider the importance of establishing those kind of boundaries and establishing little walls that you didn't have to before, and that's an opportunity
Mindset
cost.
shift
Yes, yes, exactly. It's a
of
mindset
going,
shift.
how
And
would they think? How
yep,
would they react to this? Before you even say anything, it's like a check mark before, okay, I considered how they might feel, yes or no. And
yep.
then, okay, no, got it. Instead of just going forward and having no checks and balances of considering fucking anybody else.
Right, and the thing is that it goes so much beyond, like, just fucking them too, and it
Oh, yeah.
has helped me really realize that it's very likely that any future relationships I am will probably have a polyamorous element to them, some type of non-monogamous element, just because of I want to say the flexibility, but of the openness to having other healthy relationships with people, even if they're not intimate relationships. That in a healthy, poly relationship, there's less of a risk of jealousy and things like that. And I mean, I think about how many female friends that, like, I have said that, like, I love you or whatever when I get off you get off the phone or whatever, like, and stuff like that, or that, I'll be the person they send their nudes to be like,
These look good.
Is this like, is this okay for me to send to so and so?
That's
Does
an
this look
extreme
good?
case. You're an
Well,
extreme case.
I am, and that is one thing I have to keep in mind too. Is that it's very rare for people to like. Nobody's going to be like in the position that I'm in.
No men that go, hey, Sarah, let me send you some dick pics to see if they're good to post on my OnlyFans. No one's going to me with that.
Right.
Not
Right.
guy
Well, and
friends.
I told you I had that fan that contacted me, and it was just like, I would really love it if you would subscribe to my OnlyFans. I'll give you a free subscription, just because I would love to know that you were seeing my posts. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to say no to that. Like, I appreciate that. That's fantastic, and I'd love to support you. And I will subscribe to OnlyFans and support friends. I have subscribed to
Well, that's
a decent amount of
problematic in
OnlyFans.
a relationship for some people.
Well, that's the thing. And
A
so I would,
majority of people, let's be
yeah, I would
honest.
have to, I would have to be like, hey, listen, just so you know, I subscribe to several OnlyFans that are friends of mine that I got the permission, their consent to subscribe to support them. And so, yeah, and I don't. It's not like I sit there and jerk off to their pictures, but even if I did, like, it's just, but it's not that. That's not why I'm doing it. I'm doing this to support them. But I think that a lot of it is just what happened with my friend and her boyfriend made me just start reflecting a lot on how difficult it would really be for me to be in a relationship. And I know that what I have as far as my life and my lifestyle is not typical for most men or most people in general.
Most single people
Most single
or
people.
people, yes.
And I know that it would just, but regardless, it'd be difficult. It'd be difficult for me to try to maintain this.
But if you really wanted a relationship, and I think this is my ending thought to this, if you really want a relationship, you'll learn to keep the parts of your single life that made you happy, and you'll learn to let go of some of those things that you don't need anymore because you have a partner and you're in a relationship that you value.
Yeah.
Versus, needing ego boost from random men versus feeling an emotional connection with your partner on a regular basis. I'm going to take the emotional connection for 500. Thanks.
And for me, I agree with that, but I also think you could also go the extreme and just open up the transparency and be like, share that part of your life with the other person too. Be like, oh, hey, look, these are the only
That
fans I
doesn't work
follow.
for everybody.
Well, no, but I would.
But
Once
you are
again,
the extreme case. I'm
okay,
saying for most people,
yeah,
you have to weigh what you can keep from your single life and bring into your relationship and what you have to let go to if you
yeah,
want a relationship. Because that's the other thing is you
there's
can get into
compromise.
yeah, you can get into a relationship and think I really wanted this and not be ready. And this is every fucking guy in Nashville I pretty much dated. I really want to be with you. And then they start to see what they actually have to give up and they go, no, actually this shit's not for me. I'd rather just be single. And that sucks to hear, but it's a fair thing of they're not willing to change that aspect of their life. They're living in this lifestyle right now. To be in a relationship, they have to change their lifestyle. They don't want to do that, then fine. No relationship. You stay single.
And the one thing to keep in mind is that if you look at this and you try to think, oh, I want all these things for my single life, and I'm not willing to compromise, but I'm just going to tell somebody I'm ready to be in a relationship, and
Fuck you.
you're being shitty. Like
Fuck
that.
you.
That's shitty behavior, and that's not acceptable. So, if you were willing to make the sacrifice to be in a relationship, then you need to be willing to compromise on those elements and consider that. And if you try to have your cake and eat it too, then you are being selfish and you're being shitty.
Well, and that's what leads to cheating, though, is going,
Yes.
well, I want the ego boost. I want that. I also want a partner. And at some point down that path, you lose yourself. You cheat, you slip up, and you're like, well, that wasn't the plan. Well, no shit. But you let that snowball. So you have to do those mental checks of, is flirting with them a good thing or a bad thing? Is turning to those single UK guys a good thing or a bad thing and starting a conversation?
Right.
That's just what has to be done, or you're going to fall down a slippery slope of, well, I was a little too friendly and I ended up back at their apartment, but we were just being friends. Oh, I just randomly,
Yeah. Just imagine the stories then. That would have been insane. Yeah.
Thank God. No, but
I know.
you
No.
think about what you value more. Do you value your
Yep.
single life more or your relationship more?
And
And go
that
from
will
there.
give you the answer that you need right there.
Mm.
Yep. And I think with that, that's probably a good way to wrap up the episode.
So, Adam, stay single. Stay single out there. You ain't ready yet, or find a happy poly relationship where you can
Yeah,
enjoy
nothing is
what
the
you are.
answer to either, but that's something where a lot of that behavior
You've
that I
mentioned it a lot.
I feel like that there's levels of acceptable behavior that I would actually benefit from with that, just because of, I don't know, but it's not like I'm gonna fucking date anybody and do anything anyway. So I'm going to Vermont tomorrow, actually. Finally, I'm going to the Suicide Shack, which is not a shack, by the way. I finally saw the whole place. It's a very nice little upstairs apartment in a house. It's very, very comfortable and well lit, and not at all gloomy like I thought, which is kind of disappointing, to be honest. But it's probably a good thing.
I'm happy for you.
Yeah, but I'm not planning on really doing much dating or anything like that. And I've got friends, and I've got friends with benefits, and I've got people that I like talking to, and I've got people that I flirt with, and that'll probably stay how that is for the perpetual future.
And that's how you like your lifestyle, though. And
Is
you're fine with that.
Yes, or if I could just have just a girlfriend that just wants to travel around and do all these things, and then just let me disappear for days at a time. Yeah, see, like, it's just not going to work. I can't. I don't think I can compromise like that. It's just not fair to someone else. I don't think my lifestyle is fair to somebody else. Basically,
This whole episode was about you. No.
this whole thing was just about me just trying to figure out my own fucking life.
Aw.
All right.
And you're like, enough about that deep shit. Okay.
Yeah, let's move on from that. Thank you for listening. We'd love your support. This is, like I said, the last episode of 2021. So next time you hear our beautiful voices will be on 2022. But if you do want to support us more for the holidays, you can support us on Patreon at $5 a month at patreon.com/DKS podcast.
You can also follow us on our social media channels on Instagram. On Instagram at Dating Kinda Sucks, or on TikTok. For Adam, it's at Adam Heathavitable. For me, it's simply Sarah G _ not the 3. Or feel free to email us at datingkindasuckspodcast@gmail.com with any questions or future topics you'd like us to cover.
That's true. We're always looking for cool topics, because I always want to try to come up with something a little bit unique. So you can, suggest those. You can always suggest those in our Facebook group as well, at facebook.com/groups/DKS podcast. And, what we'd love for Christmas would be some more 5-star ratings and reviews on Apple's iTunes. So if you are a new listener and have not left us a rating or review, please do. It helps us quite a bit.
It does. Remember the day when we were just trying to hit 100 reviews? We're like, our Christmas gift would be 100 reviews. How cute.
I know, now we're at like 250, I think, right?
Over that. I think we're over that now. Yeah. I don't check it as much as I used to. I used to obsessively check it. Like, oh my God, we're almost there. Oh my God. Now I'm like, oh yeah, we got a 1-star again. What the fuck ever.
Yeah. Because I managed to piss off enough people on TikTok that they sometimes decided to retaliate by leaving 1-star reviews occasionally. So that's why we need the 5 stars to kind of supplement that. But otherwise, we'll be back with the new year with new episodes and some potentially new news about the podcast, some new formatting as well. We'll see how things come.
Teaser.
I know, a little bit of teaser. Yeah, just a little bit of foreplay there. Get you all excited and warmed up for the holidays. And
thanks for that.
Thank you. We'll talk to you in 2022.
Until next time.
Whether you're married or single or poly or ace, or hanging out with swingers back at your place, listen to us as we give no fuck on Tinder and Bumble and plenty of yucks, trying and having no luck, because we all know dating kinda sucks. Sarah and Adam are 2 of a kind. He says stupid shit and she doesn't mind. They're not doing this show to make any buck. Life as a chicken whose feathers they pluck. Why does it work? Well, here is the crux. They both know dating kinda sucks. Dating kinda sucks.